My name is Stanley Calvin Stone III, and I'm here with Andrew Diemer, and he's the author of Vigilance, The Life of William Still Underground Railroad. We're here at the Perkins Center in Morristown, New Jersey, and Andrew is about to give a talk about his book, and we wanted to ask him a few questions today before he got started. Like, Andrew, so how did you get into writing this book about William Still?
So I was writing this earlier book, which was a more academic book that was looking at how free African Americans fought for citizenship rights in the years before the Civil War. And in the Philadelphia portion of that book, I kept coming across William Still, who was this person who I was aware of. I knew that he had done this work on the Underground Railroad, but I wasn't expecting him to show up in public in the ways that he was. So he was making speeches, he was writing pieces in the newspaper, he was a part of public organizations, and that was really surprising to me, and that got me wondering what else I didn't know about this person. And as I dug deeper and deeper, he became this compelling person who I couldn't know enough about.
Wow. So how long did it take you to write the book?
So once I moved on from the earlier book and really focused in on this book, I would say probably 5 years, 5 or 6 years. So that's research, and then the writing part is a little bit faster than the research part.
What else from the book about William Still's life that's really is an important point or factor?
Yeah, I think what I try to do in the book is help understand, yes, the life of William Still, but how his life fit into the bigger picture of what was going on around him. I mean, I think one of the most important ways that I think we need to understand William Still is coming out of this Black community in Philadelphia. He's got lots of allies of various sorts, but I don't think you can understand him without understanding this rich, activist Black tradition in which he is, doing the work that he does.
It's interesting, because that's kind of what I found when I read the book that was so interesting, was that it was the things that were going around him that kind of helped create what he did and who he was. What else? I thought the other thing interesting, you mentioned there is a sculpture, a bust about it. How'd you run across that information?
So that was mentioned in his obituary. So in the obituary, they talked about that there was this bust of him, and I think it's still unclear if it's out there somewhere. So it's possible that it survived. It's possible that it's in some archive somewhere. It's the sculptor is a famous Meta Fuller, famous Harlem Renaissance sculptor. She studied in France. This wonderful. She had actually been a Still neighbor, so she lived on that 12th Street block where Still. So that's how she had gotten to know him. But I think it's really, what's interesting to me about that too is that part of Still's life, especially his later life when he had some money to spend, was he was a real patron of Black artists. So he wanted to support, writers, sculptors, all sorts of Black artists. And so I think that's really kind of interesting. And at the end of his life, he has this woman who becomes this important figure who sculpts this bust of him, and it would be great if we could find it.
Do you think he commissioned her to do it of him during the time, or was it like after he had passed?
So I think he was still alive when it was sculpted. So it was sculpted for he was a great patron of this institution that was helping older Black men and women who couldn't afford, there was no social safety net the way we have today. So they had to have private institutions. He was a great patron of that institution. And as president of that, this was sort of commissioned for that purpose, to commemorate his service.
What else would you want people to get from the book?
To cover kind of the full sweep of his life. So of course we are mostly interested, or the thing we're most interested in is the Underground Railroad work, right? That's the most exciting stuff. That's why we know him. But he has this long career, and it all kind of connects together. So part of that Underground Railroad work was fighting for citizenship rights, for what he would have called uplift, right, to improve the lives of Black people. That work continues during the Civil War, after the Civil War. So he's doing all sorts of other things, and it all kind of comes together. Right? It's all part of this longer career. In other words, we shouldn't sort of divide history. There's all this stuff before the end of slavery, and then there's stuff after. There's a kind of continuity in his life.